Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. Welcome back. I am sitting on the all-new for 2025 Toro Titan Max. Sitting beside me is my old 2021 model year Toro Titan Max. That has been the best lawnmower I have ever owned. It has over 200 hours on it, has never given me any problems, has a great cut quality, and I have been really looking forward to Toro giving out the refresh of the Toro Titan Max here in 2025. We're fortunate enough to have a relationship with Toro to where they send us out these mowers to let you guys know what we think about them, and that's what we're gonna do right now. So it's really cool to be in a position to compare an older model with a brand new model to show you all the changes that were made. And that kind of gives you an idea of whether a company is listening to their customers and making changes that people want to see made. Now, in looking at these two mowers, you can tell I've got a couple of extra add-ons on this one that I didn't have on my older model. The biggest one that you can see here is the bagger system. I mow a ton of grass here, probably in the neighborhood of 5 acres or so. I don't plan on bagging all of this. The only reason that I wanted the bagger is I've got a pretty large pile of wood chips down in the wood yard down there, and on its own, it will take a long time for those wood chips to break down and compost. However, if you add nitrogen to that pile and mix it all together, grass will greatly accelerate the decomposition of those wood chips and turn it into compost much faster. So I plan on taking this on and off and going back and forth between a regular rubber chute and the grass catcher. Now, because we do have the bagger system on the back, I think when you get this kit, it also requires that you put a little bit of a weight kit on the front, because if you fill up those two bags on the back, you could end up wanting to do a little bit of a wheelie situation. So you have an extra counterweight on the front to keep your front tires firmly planted and prevent that from happening. Also, this bagger, there is an extra blower in here that hooks onto a pulley as part of the mower deck. So that will help actually, your mower deck will shoot the clippings out the side like it normally would, and then you have an extra blower in here that latches onto that pulley that helps shoot it up and into the bagger system. So I'm curious to try that out, and I also want to see just how quickly this bagger system on this mower is going to fill up. I was a little underwhelmed with the size of the bags. I mean, again, you got to compare who they're making this mower for versus who I am. I've got probably a lot more grass to cut than most people. So these bags, I think, are a little bit small for what I'm going to be doing. But again, I'm just going to be using them intermittently here to catch some grass for compost. In looking these two mowers over, they are very similar in kind of the bones of the machine. So they both have a Kohler 26 horsepower Pro engine on them. Same battery location, same oil fill, drain plug, all that stuff is very similar. Same tires on the rear. That's one thing that I really like about the Titan Max is they put a nice, beefy, aggressive tire on, and they actually hold up really well. This one is after 200 hours of use. Actually, I think I've got 202 hours on the dash, and they still look basically brand new compared to the old ones. They both have a 60-inch deck on them with a similar deck height adjustment contraption here. They haven't really changed that a whole lot, which I like this system. It's fairly easy to use. And that's about where the similarities stop. If you look, they changed the front tires here, that they actually have tread on them. I'm not sure as though that was necessary in looking at this, because there's no drive in these tires, right? So whether they are flat and smooth or have tread on them, that might be just for looks, but yeah, just something to note. One thing that I do really like that they added, and my weight kit here might be getting in the way, but this mower comes standard with lights right underneath the operator's platform. I really like that when you're in the dead of summer and it's 95 degrees all day long, and the only time you can either mow where it's cool out is first thing in the morning or right before the sun goes down. Having that light on there to allow you to mow when it's not quite so hot out is going to be a nice addition. On the new model, they've given you a bigger cup holder and compartment for your cell phone and other things. Just in general, the whole operator's platform, the shroud and everything around the seat is much bigger and more robust than on the old unit. I like that. The controls, while they all do the same thing, they did change it just a little bit. There's what the new system looks like. You have a rocker switch for your PTO there, and you also have the addition of your headlight switch there. If you come and look at the old one, it does the same thing, but just a little bit different. This is a pull type knob. Push it down to turn it off, and Looks like they actually have a knockout here for a light if you wanted to wire your own light in the old model. Another big improvement is the old model did not have a fuel gauge. All they had was this sight glass here. And as you can tell, out in broad daylight here, you can't really tell how much fuel you have. You kind of got to jiggle it around a little bit and hope that you can see a difference in where the fuel level is versus where it's not. I was never really a big fan of that. It does work, but you got to have pretty good lighting in order to see it. And they did put a fuel gauge on this one, although I'm not terribly happy about the location of it. It's way down in there in the seat. It'd be nice if it was up here so you always have an idea of how soon you need to go refuel. So that is a quick first glance at the differences I see between the old Toro Titan Max and the new one. None of that matters, however, if it doesn't cut good. So let's go hop on the mower and see what the cut quality looks like. So we got the whole front yard mowed, which is what I would use the bagger for. Now we're going to take this and go try it out on the field. Typically I mow that with the finish mower on the back of the LS tractor because it's got a 7-foot finish mower on the back. Much bigger for a nice big wide open space, but I want to try this thing out and see how it does. I also want to see how big of a pain in the butt it is to take this off and put it on. So right there, tube comes off with 2 rubber grommets. I believe there's 2 or 3 pins in the back here. And then just like that, the whole bagger assembly off the back comes off. And then we just have to take off the blower here. And I think there's just a couple of twist screws here. So then to take this off, all you have to do is, I don't know if you can see here, there's a little tensioner here for the belt. Loosen the tension, take the belt off this pulley, and then there is a little release latch right here that this clips on to the edge of your regular blower chute. And then this should just pop right off. And now all we have to do is put the rubber chute on and we are back in business. All right, so we got the new knocked off of the new Toro Titan Max, and we got the yard looking pretty good. I'll tell you what, this thing lays down some mean stripes. We do have a striping kit actually on both mowers. It's really not a big deal. All it is a little rubber flap that hangs off of the back of the mower deck that helps kind of fold the grass over one way. Then as you go the other way, it folds it over the other way. So as the sun hits it, it makes it either look light or dark. And I really like that. I take a lot of pride in how our property looks, and I think you can probably tell by looking at the stripes that we put down here. But it's something that I enjoy and can be proud of when I pull in the driveway, and both of these mowers do a great job at that. Now, everything that I liked about the original Toro Titan Max is still true in this mower here. And like I said before, they made a number of improvements. One that I actually forgot to mention earlier is they have eliminated the separate parking brake. So now the parking brake is built into the lap bars of this machine. So when you fold them in, you are now release the parking brake. When you fold them out, the parking brake is engaged. On the older model, there was an extra lever that you had here. So basically you would release the parking brake and now you're just in neutral, and then you would fold them in and then have your forward and back on the sticks. Now the parking brake is integrated in. I think that's a little bit safer to have it that way, because on the old mower, there would be that half a second where you'd release the parking brake and then you're in neutral until you grab the sticks and take control of the drive motors. So that's another improvement that I like that they made with the newer model versus the older model. As far as the bagger on the back goes, it actually fit a lot more grass in there than I thought it would. I was averaging about 8 passes here in the front yard before I would need to go dump it. And that might not sound like a lot, but you got to keep in mind, 8 passes for me is like 100 to 150 yards one way, and then 150 yards back the other way. So I'm covering quite a bit of ground with each pass. So I think the addition of that blower on the side there helps chop it up a little bit more, and then it compacts more in the bag, so you can get a lot in those bags. I can see why they made them as small as they did, because once you get all those grass clippings inside that bag and they're all compacted like that, it's pretty heavy. I mean, I'm 33 and fairly fit guy, and those bags were fairly heavy to lift up and try to shake out. So originally I said I was a bit underwhelmed with the size of those bags, but now after having used them, I don't think you could go much bigger because people wouldn't be able to lift them up and dump them out. So anyway, guys, that is the new Toro Titan Max. Hope you enjoyed this one. If you did, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching.